What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy back here again for one of my almost 3 a.m. lives. I am here. I was thinking about my dad today. I think about my dad every day. It's not anything new for me to think about him. The only difference is the times, the ways, whether it's something good or whether it's something bad. It's usually something good. I mean, the thing about it is, I guess I can only speak for myself, but when you lose a loved one, a close loved one, and by close, I don't even mean closeness in terms of how close you were to them when they're here necessarily, but I just mean like a staple, because I'm saying it that way because I'm making a point. A loved one that basically a loved one that has been there for your entire life or a good majority of it, to where they are a staple of your life, whether that was good or bad. But particularly if it was not good for a long time, right? When they go, even though you can remember all this bad that you didn't like, that was hard for you, whatever. After a while, you're like, that's not the part that I want to hold on to. Me, like, I know some people probably do hold on to those parts, but I don't. So with him, I occasionally think about the hard things that I went through with him, but the majority of the time, I think about the things that I learned, right? Because I remember something he did that was so annoying to me at this particular time. We would go through some of the most difficult things. Hi, Charissity, hi, Ronald. We'd go through some really difficult things. Like, I remember this time he was driving me to school, and school was not driving me to school like from home to school. This is when I went to boarding school. So driving me to school was hours away, was several hours away in Canada from where he was living in Massachusetts at that time. And we had an accident. We had like a fairly bad car accident on the way there, and he gave one of his catchphrases. Not right away, like not right when we had the accident, but once the police came, police report, all that stuff, and we were relatively good physically, and we were able to drive off, etc. And he goes, "Any lessons learned?" I used to hate when he said that, but that's something that he would say whenever some kind of hardship or hard time would happen. That's the thing that he would say at the end of it. But it's something that I ask myself. I ask myself that question, you know, whenever I go through something hard, because it's like the hard things that I experienced would not be worth it without taking the lesson out of it. There was something else that I was going to say before I hopped on this live. That little detour took my mind off of it. Oh yeah, I was. The other thing I was really thinking about though was with these different situations I have found myself in at work. I'm gonna be honest. I had an honest conversation with one of my leadership on Friday because they saw me and my usual demeanor, and by usual demeanor I mean at this particular job, because I've been working on it. my general disposition at this particular job has just been to be positive, to be somebody who comes into work with a smile on my face. Not because I love coming into work, obviously, but just because I feel like that smile that I give somebody might be one that they have a difficult time finding, because there was an awful time in my life, right, where you wouldn't catch me smiling. And the one person who would remember that time is my mom. The other person who would remember that time is my dad, and he's not here. So the only living person who would remember that time is my mom. And she would tell me to smile. My mom would tell me to socialize with people. My mom would tell me, fake it till you make it. What she would be trying to tell me is like, I understand that you're not feeling good right now, but you're never going to feel good if you don't act like you feel good. But sometimes you don't have it in you to even put on the act. And I experienced a solid 2 years of that. 2 years where I never even thought I would find that smile again. And now here I am, years later, more than a decade later, doing a job where I primarily run into a lot of people like that. Um, the clients that I run into who are like that, I have an unlimited capacity to wait for them to get up to speed, because I've been there. The staff, I've been told to kind of look at the staff in the same way that I look at the clients. I have a little harder time finding that empathy. Sorry, but because you ain't gonna talk anything stupid while I'm giving this kind of story. Sometimes I'm for it, but right now I'm not. Okay, but anyways, as I was saying, the staff, I've been told to kind of draw from that same well of empathy. But I have a little harder time because I'm like, you're waking up, you have a home to go to. You're not in a homeless shelter like some of these people. You are getting paid to come here and do this job, whether you like it or not, whether you have the heart for it or not. And it's not even that I don't have empathy for coworkers or staff or whatever that have things going on in their life, because we're not machines. Like, no matter what job you do, none of us are machines. None of us can just go and do work every day unlimited and just never have any of our own problems and never have any of our own things to deal with that draw from our ability to do a job. However, why does that mean you got to work overtime to try to take the smile off of my face? That's what I don't understand. That's the part. That's the part that kills me the most. Is that as I've gone through life, right? People have called me funny before, right? I was voted the most funny person in my high school class. I never told a joke. They told me I never had to tell a joke to be funny. But people have told me that I'm funny in my lifetime, right? Even during those times where they said I was funny, I was not a ha ha type of guy. I was a very angry person at one point in my life. And I worked on that because I said it's not getting me anywhere in life. I want to be different. I want to be somebody who is pleasant. I want to be somebody who puts a smile on people's faces if it's their only smile for the day. The fact that it came from me, I take that as some kind of an honor. And I found like a strange side effect of that is that angers people. It really does. It makes people angry, and I'm not. I'm not just pulling that out of thin air. It makes people angry at my job. It has made people angry at previous jobs. I don't like that. I don't like that, man. I don't like it. And I reached a place last week in my life where a person really strongly made me feel that way. They still do make me feel that way. That person is still in existence and trying to do that to me, and I just avoid them the best that I can now. But I thought about my dad. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I'm mid story, but y'all know I don't like finishing off these stories in public places. So I'm gonna stop at my store, get what I need, and then I'm gonna finish out the story when I get in the car. All right. It's payday today, by the way. I mean, the pay is not gonna hit until later, but alright. Okay. What are we getting today? Hey, the tone guy. What's going on? What's going on? Sorry for the delay, y'all. Thank you. Right. Okay. I hate when I get to my spots that I'm going to mid story. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm wearing these glasses at night, these are some cool Temu glasses, man. And it's like my regular glasses, my regular sunglasses. I mean, I don't know why I called them glasses. My regular sunglasses, bro, I'm getting into my Jared bag. My regular sunglasses are dark, so if it was nighttime and I had them on, I can't see out of them. These ones are just like this cool shade of blue that I put them on and I can still see. It's just like a light blue. It's like wearing rose-colored glasses. Not literally rose-colored, but uh, not literally rose-colored, but you know. By the way, I have no problem with people dropping Bible verses, right? If you wonder why I took that person out of here, sometimes the people will jump on here and be like, Jesus is your only answer. Jesus is the Savior. There's nothing wrong with you saying that, because I'm a Christian myself, right? But my whole thing is, if you've never commented on my page, and that's your only or your first and your only comment on my page, I consider that as a spam comment. That's the only thing. If you jump on here, the first comment is about the war, or if your first comment is about the president, or if it's about religion or whatever, I just assume that you are a troll, because if you didn't listen to anything that I said, if your comment has no context to anything that I'm talking about or anything you've seen on my page, then I'm not really interested in continuing the conversation. Could you potentially be a great person and a great subscriber that I just missed because of the fact that I was willing to block you so fast? It's possible, but it's also the internet. So I've been on this internet, on YouTube, since YouTube existed, and during that time, even during just this last three to 4 years of covering TV shows, so many people have come and gone. Some of my most dedicated, consistent people are not even, they don't even come around my channel anymore. So people will come and people will go. That's just the way it is. Hi, Cardboard and Francis Lay. How y'all doing? So to continue the thing that I was saying before I stopped at the gas station, there's people that work OT to make sure that I'm not smiling, right? There's a particular one at my job, right, that has aggressively done so in the last. This one has emerged. This was not somebody who bothered me for the first. I've been in my job for like 8 months, and for the first 7+ months, this is not somebody who bothered me or who I really interacted with much. And even if we did interact, our interactions were fairly on the pleasant side. You know, not that we were super friendly, right? But uh, our interactions were fine. I had no problem with this person. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they started just aggressively working OT to make sure that I was unhappy at work, to the point of even wanting to report me to my boss for literally walking into a room. It wasn't because of what I said. It was because of me walking into a room. This is not, let's just say it like this. This person that I'm talking about is not in my department. And myself, I know people, I kind of know people in every department at my job. So one thing that I do in the morning, I tried with you. All right. So one thing that I do in the morning when I can, I don't always do this, but when I can, I go around to everybody that I know in the building, and I just tell them, like, hey, good morning, especially if I know them. I was actually, no, I don't have it in the car with me. Shoot. Anyways, yeah, especially if I know them. I go around in the morning and I tell everybody good morning, good to see them, whatever. And this person saw me and said, I hope that you're not going to see this person because they have so much work to do. Mind you, it was like 8:30. It was like about 9 o'clock in the morning. They get there. That person gets there about 9. So if you're gonna say hi to somebody who has a lot of work to do, right? 9 o'clock, like the time they come in would be the time to do so, right? And because they haven't started the work. Now I could understand if it was a case of I'm sitting in here for an hour. That's an hour that they could have been doing the work. But if I come for 5 minutes just to say good morning, um, whatever. So I went in to go say hi and good morning, and I said to that person, "Hey, your boss let me know that they don't want me to come in here." So I said, "I'm just quickly coming in to say hi, and also it was someone I hadn't seen in more than a week, maybe a couple weeks because I was on vacation." So I said hi, and then, like I said, I told them, right? I can't stay here very long. I'm just here to say hi and bye because your boss does not want me to come in here. They said, okay. Um, then I said, how are you? Thing about me, when I tell people how are you, I listen to how they are, and that person was having a very hard time that day. And I had every intention of just coming in and leaving, right? But they were having a hard day, and it was about grieving. And one thing about me is I was always that person who, when somebody was grieving, thoughts and prayers. You are in my thoughts and you are in my prayers. I didn't know what to say. I never had really advice for anyone I knew who was grieving somebody. And I never thought that I would be that person like up to 2 years ago. Um, I'm still not saying I'm the first person anyone comes to with those types of things, but I am a person that people do come to a lot because they're like, how have you dealt with losing your dad? And I have answers not based upon research studies and a psychology degree, but just answers based on my own personal experience of what I've been through. And that's what I was doing. That's the reason why I was in there for more than 5 minutes, because I started talking to that person about, the loss they were telling me about, and experiences that they've had, with that. And then that person walks in. I'm not going to repeat what they said only because I'm trying to keep this as work proof as possible, but I'll just say the person made a nasty comment about me still being there and then threatened me to get me in trouble for being there. And that was the first time out of all these different things I've experienced at work in the last 5 years, which is a lot of things. It was the first one that actually made me want to jump out of my new character. I don't want to call it a new character, but it kind of is. The reason I say that, the reason I mentioned my dad in the first place, my dad had such a generally positive, half glass half full view of the world and such a positive disposition. And I know that that was partially by choice, but that was partially innate when it came to him. He would just walk around. Oh, that guy, took my $20 out of my pocket. Well, I don't think that he's necessarily a thief. He's probably somebody who experienced some hard times and he just needed that money to buy some food for his family. Oh, like I went to work and this person yelled at me for trying to console somebody who was grieving. Well, maybe that just triggered something that happened to them in the past, so they have something that they are grieving, and they haven't gotten over it, so that's the reason why they have brought that energy towards me when I was just trying to talk to somebody and help them through a rough situation. These are not the thoughts that go through my mind. Tell you that. My mind is like, what the bleep are you talking about? Like, just because you're a miserable hag does not mean that everyone else has to be like you. Relax. The thoughts that go through my head, man, it's crazy that I keep saying this to people and they keep not believing me. But there was a time in my life when I wasn't so nice. And in my head, sometimes I'm still that not so nice person. And this goes for this internet, and this goes for off of this internet. There was a time when I really was not a nice person, and I worked really, really, really hard. Being nice does not come natural to me, believe it or not. It's a daily choice. It's an hourly choice sometimes. Because the responses that I have in my head are not the same things as the things I say out loud. And I know that most people will say, nobody says everything in their head that they're thinking in their head out loud. I know some people who say a lot more things that they think about in their head out loud than I do. 99% of the, like 1% of the time, you'll catch me on the wrong day. And when I say that thing, everyone will clutch their pearls. But in my head, I'm like, oh, that one came out because there were so many other ones that I didn't say. You got the lightest version, but it's just because it sounds so different from how I normally address people that it hits different. So that's the reason why I said to think about my dad, because I'm like, I wish I could be that person, honestly. Not that I wish I could be him in a sense, right? But I wish I could be that person who just naturally is able to brush off human nature of how most people are and just glass half full, this and that, like that type of person, like how he was, where everything just bounced off of him. He had this like natural armor to him, right? Where nothing really got to him. That's the type of person he was. That's not the truth. I won't say nothing got to him. You would never see anything get to him. As his family member who lived in his house with him, I saw when things would get to him. But just generally, in an average day, the types of things that rile me up all day and wind me up all day would not be the types of things that would bother him. And I strive to be more like that type of person, but we're all different. I use the analogy of a cup, right? And everybody's cup is a different size. And I use that cup to represent our capacity to deal with BS. His BS cup was like the 64-ounce things, the 64-ounce bottles that you can fill up with water to make sure that you drink your 64 ounces for the day. And that was the size of his cup. My cup is like one of these. This is a cup I bought in Toronto, by the way. My cup is like one of these size cups where it fills up real fast. Then I catch a brain aneurysm trying not to say the things that I want to say, and it's it's deeper than what I don't want to say. It's who I don't want to be. Cuz if I say the things that I want to say and then I start to say them with regularity, then here I am down that rabbit hole again of being that person that I've been trying to avoid being. Because I don't want to be that person. But every day that goes by when people mess with me, which is almost every day at this point, it becomes more and more difficult not to be that person. But anyways, to wrap this up, because I realized I went for 30 minutes and I don't have much of a point. It's just a rant in a sense. Um, I just I just made a statement about this, and you did it anyways. Um, I just made a whole thing about that earlier, and you did it anyways. Anyways, I'm not even gonna wrap this up because this is just a. There's no particular point to this. It's just me getting some things off my chest. I don't know how I'm gonna resolve it, handle it. I don't know. I don't really know what my solution is just yet, but I'm still here. I'm still here standing. I'm still here going through it. Um, yeah, we got all the trolls out tonight. Well, we had all the trolls out tonight. Who's 1, 2, and 3? Ronald, Charicity, and Francis Lay. And I guess it's a couple of people that were on there that I blocked. Did I grow up in DC? I hate to even answer your question because I feel like you're a troll. However, no, I did not. What's your next question? Good morning. I'll just call you A because I don't feel like reading that long name. How you doing today? I'm jumping off in the next 2 minutes, so if you're gonna give me a troll comment, you have 2 minutes to do so. Make it count before I block you. If you're gonna give me a real comment, thank you for joining the channel. Yeah, I had a feeling. That's a good one. That's a good one. Air crew boy. Ball sack crusted salmon with a dandruff demi glaze. That's what Air crew boys said that he likes for dinner. You're welcome. I hope you enjoyed that comment. You got 2 comments in, so you did a good job because I was gonna block you at the first one, but I waited for the second one and you didn't disappoint, and now I blocked you. Amazing. Car James. Hi and bye. Who else? Who else we got here? Hillbilly never finished his comment. All right. So that's all. That's all y'all got. All right. Unlike at work, so all the stuff that I talk about at work, I have to deal with these people just because they're in the same building with me. Y'all over here, I don't have to deal with any of you because this is not work. Even though it gives me a little money here and there, it's not work. So you can just get blocked, just to let you know. But for those who are supporters, subscribers, I always appreciate you. And as always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that beautiful notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more amazing content. Thank you and have an amazing evening.